Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. This is probably the most unique 101 that we are going to be doing. All right. So this is an Explorer's 101. All right. What it is for people that travel around to look for spots, A, and B, for those people that don't want to be confined to a specific technique. All right. So if you're the type of person that finds yourself fishing soft plastics one day, spoons at the same day, or even plugs and soft plastics, plugs, spoons, bucktails and stuff like that, this is the video for you. Alrighty. I will share a few rod and reel combinations that I have that does all those things. Now, who would use something like this? You know, if you have shore jigging equipment, why not use shore jigging equipment? Well, you know, especially when you're hopping from one place to another, okay, or you're the type of person that fishes a very diverse field. So it could be like you're fishing deeper water one day, and then the next day you're fishing in like the flats. You know, this sort of gear helps a lot, okay? A lot, because you're not confined to one technique. So like, take for example, if you're using soft plastics on shore jigging gear, you might find that the handle will be too long when you're casting or when you're working the lure, you know? It could be that you're working soft plastics okay with what do you call this, a light shore jigging stuff, but when you're working plugs, it's harder because of the longer handle, like swimming plugs, okay, the ones with the lips and stuff. So this sort of gear is a very generalistic approach, and it's also the most versatile. You could literally do almost everything. But there's a trade-off. Obviously, since it's not something very specific to the technique, you won't have all of the functions for that particular technique, but you do get a lot more. Okay, so this is a technique or a segment of fishing wherein you're able to use a lot of techniques, but it's not very specific, nor is it very specialized in a particular field. But guess what? A lot of people who want to just go fishing and not be like a specialist, this is it. All right. So we're talking of medium action tackle. On the top of the heap for me would be this. This is a 1/4 to 1 ounce combo, and medium action, of course, it is rated 6 to 12. So right smack in the spectrum of things, right? I paired it with a 4,000 sized reel. This is a twin power 4,000. It's an older model. And boy, I have used just this particular rod for a lot of things, from catching yellowfin, smaller yellow, actually no, not yellowfin, but longtail tuna, from catching longtail tuna offshore in Fujairah. I've used this. Dorado. It's perfect for Dorado, actually. Kingfish here in the Gulf, and even flats fishing. You know, I've used this, and it works, especially for the heavier applications. We are looking at 7 grams to about 28, something like that for this. So it can work, cast, and throw all those lures, okay, up to 28 or 30 grams, let's say. Okay, so there are lures that hold on, let me show you something. So this is a 30-gram Castmaster, okay, and that rod is able to throw something this heavy and work it. And I've used this on that. It's kind of unwieldy, but you know, it just gives you an idea of the kind of range that it can work. So The other rods that I'm about to show you work almost like this. You know, it's kind of like the lighter version of that or something that's similar. All right. Now, as I have mentioned, so that was an American style one and done rod and reel, and it's my favorite. And I've had it for years, and it works really well. However, for a lot of applications, especially in shallower water, it is a tad on the heavy side. So we're looking at mostly 3,000 sized reels or 2,500. So this will be a very good pairing for these sized reels. So I showed you, this is a sustain. This is a twin power XD. We're looking at high speed reels. Okay, so HG and XG. I don't really use a lot of PG for shallow water fishing, except for the smaller stuff, like my ultralight stuff. I use a lot of PGs there. In fact, the only Stella 1000 that I have is a PG because I use that specifically for small soft plastics. All right, so we're looking at 2,500 or 3,000 sized reels. Now, as far as the lures are concerned, I have used chatterbaits such as this, and this is something that I just made myself actually. This is just hair, fly tying hair, and you can see like there's some sparkly bits there. I have installed this on my own. I've literally just put this together, and believe it or not, chatterbaits in salt water, they work really, really well. Okay, so part of the reason why I have a general type lures is because of this. I know a lot of people in saltwater will probably find this weird, but literally one of my favorite estuary baits. Okay, so a chatterbait, small as this, and then we have rods. Now, first and foremost, a lot of people will probably not find this, especially if you're in the States, but who knows, maybe, well, no, actually, because this is discontinued, it's kind of hard to find. This is the Yamaha Early Plus Explorer. So 995 ml. Okay, so 7 to 28, very similar to that one. Okay, and it is rated for PE 0.8 to 1.5. And this is really good for this type of reel right here. And if you notice, most of the reels that I have are Magnum Light reels, almost the same stuff that well, it's not almost, it's the same reels I use for my light shore jigging stuff, because guess what, you can light shore jig with these reels. It's one of those things. Okay, so with this I'm able to work soft plastics, the what do you call this, the metals, these bucktails, lures, smaller lures and stuff. Now the almost 9.5 foot reach gives me a lot of distance. Okay, so when I am exploring, it's kind of funny because that's exactly what this rod says, Explorer. Okay, so this is the type of model where you use to literally break apart a spot, and I believe this is the heart of this whole video. It's when you are exploring and you're breaking the spot and seeing exactly which works. Now, the good thing about this rod is the fact that, you know, once, let's say I've determined that this spot is good for LSJ, I don't have to change stuff. All I have to do is just change the lure that I have on top, okay, or attached to it. It could be a vibration lure, it could be a jig, it could be a spoon. And guess what? boom, it turns into an LSJ gear, you know. So a very good one to have, and literally the same spec as this rod right here. But you'll find that because of its longer reach, it's able to be a bit more versatile, especially on highly pressured areas. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't realize when they're standing on a jetty. Okay, so example, this is the jetty, and there's 20 of you here, and you're standing right smack in the middle, or because you're early, right? Early. You went to the tip because that's the best spot. Okay, so there's 20 of you, and they all have, let's say, this reel and rod combination. And what happens is that everybody is casting, and all their casting distances are pretty much the same. Because you have a longer rod, your reach would be longer. And guess what? You're immediately reaching a distance where no one is able to reach with the same weight. Okay? So you're reaching areas that are not as pressured. Okay? That's one. And I think the second thing that a lot of people don't see is the fact that you're able to cast a lighter, smaller profile lure almost the same distance as them when you're actually fishing in a scenario like this. So being able to present something small, let's say like something 7 gram, okay, and most of the people are casting like what, 20-gram lures, and they're reaching a certain distance, but you can reach the same distance with a 7-gram lure. You have the advantage because you're able to present a smaller profile in the same distance, and guess what? The fish, in highly pressured areas, the fish will actually respond to smaller lures better. Okay, so you're able to cast those types of jigs, or even a 7-gram soft plastic, which is again something that enables you to reach farther. Okay, so something that's really, really good. Now, another rod I use for this sort of fishing, and a bit lighter, is this Bayliner AKBM from Smith. Now, this is a bit of a special rod, so I don't really use it a lot. This is actually given to me by the guy who designed this. His name is Kozo Okubo. And this thing, okay, he used a 3000 sized reel with this. And this thing is, the name AKBM actually stands for, it's an abbreviation for, this is Aji, K something, B is also something else, but M is Mebaru. So it's a rod and a rod that's designed to catch like these fish. But it's a very good all-around rod, especially when I'm fishing like shallower water and for lighter line. Now, this pairs up, what I found, it pairs up really well with a 2500 sized reel. Although he used a 3000 sized reel, I found that the 2500 actually works really well with this. It balances out really nicely. Comparing to, no, you would probably think that this is kind of like ultralight and stuff, but this is more of a medium light than it is ultralight. So or light or ultralight setup. So this is why I'm talking about this here, because they're all medium light. So with this rod, I found that it's a bit more on the soft plastic side, but you can use lead head jigs and it works well with this. I've also fished it with spoons and some jigs, but I found that, you know, it's actually better for soft plastics. And also, although it is, you can, I found that the action of this, especially with the softer tip on this, it actually works well with lead head jigs, like at its best. But yeah, definitely something that I could take, especially on the palm. This is a very good rod for the palm, and I've caught fish of up to about 2.5, 3 kilos with this, and it's so much fun. All right, now for the line, we'll talk about that when we talk about the reels. Okay, but the range of line that I'm using here would be 0.8 and 0.6. So that's the kind of thing that this does. Now, if I want a bit more distance, obviously I'm short-handed with this. So this is kind of like for medium range presentations, especially with soft plastics. And it works really well for that. All right, so one rod that I use on a boat together with this, so basically a lighter version of this would be this one right here. It is actually kind of unique. It is a two-piece rod, but it's an offset, meaning it's a butt joint, but it has like a little bit sticking out of the butt joint. And bogey, it is 7.5 feet, so about almost half a foot longer than this one. And I use a 3000 sized reel on this as well. So the Twin Power XD works well with this, or the Vanquish. Now, I have a lot of memories with this rod and reel, or with what should it take, this one right here. This combo off of a boat. All right, so I usually mostly use this off of a boat or kayak. And again, you can see the range it has, lure weight. Okay, so that's that's 1 to 25 grams. Very broad range, and I think this one excels when you're fishing with casting jigs, vibration lures, and plugs. All right, so I've used this on small jacks just outside of the marina, and we were catching them left, right, and center. They were boiling, and you were just casting, taking turns with the rod. It's a very fun rod to use. Now, the application for all of these, obviously, is not limited to that. Okay, like take for example, if I'm out in the flats and I am fishing tiny soft plastics or metals, this would be my choice, and it wouldn't be the longer rods. It would be this one right here. Now, let me just show you, just to give you an idea, the tip as, because it's actually quite thin for this rod. So you could see there, it's a see, so it has cutouts here so that you can feel it, right? And it's very light, and the tip is actually quite flexible for this because of the range. It's 1 to 25, but you could see that the tip is actually quite a good size right there. Okay, oops, hold on, let me show you. So for flats fishing, this is actually really good. Now, the idea of this is for you to be walking around from shore, casting soft plastics, plugs, and stuff like that. So it's for a mobile type of fishing, and this is what Gibo-san actually designed this for. And it's actually really good for, like I said, flats fishing, fishing the palm and stuff, and even off the boat for smaller stuff. This thing works very, very well. Again, a very generalist type of gear that you could use with like almost anything. Okay, so as far as lures go, and actually that's kind of like the hallmark of Okinawa fishing. You know, when you're mobile, walking around, targeting fish off the beach and stuff. Perfect. It's just perfect. Now, the last rod is something that's a bit of a, I think for me, almost in the specialist range because it is long. Okay, this is 9 feet, and again, this is rated for 1 to 20 grams, and literally you could do anything with this rod. This is the N1 rockfish, and they have nanotech in this. Okay, so it is light. It's almost like the 5G, and this has long since been discontinued. Okay, but let me show you how it looks like. So you can see again the tip on this is actually quite thin, and it pairs well with a 3000 size reel. Again, like I said, you know, this is something that you could use jigs with your light shore jigging stuff, but it's designed to be a bit more versatile. Okay, so the tip is very soft, but for this particular one, the back is heavy. Now, for those in Europe that they're doing LRF or light rock fishing, this is that sort of rod that's really good for it. Now, for something like this, I like the Twin Power XD instead of the Vanquish, because although the tip is light, you know, the balance of this, okay, as far as the physical balance of this, it just feels better with the Twin Power XD. Okay, so as you can see there, it balances out actually around here. Okay, so you can see. Now, as far as feel is concerned, this actually takes like a really good. So as far as feel is concerned, so this is 22. All right, so if I'm looking for distance and casting small soft plastics and metals off the beach or a jetty, this is something that I would be looking at. You know, the good thing about this rod is that it has a lot of grunt. So even if you hook something, the back section gives you a lot of lifting power. The tip is very sensitive, but it's not too overly sensitive. What I like about this is that I can fish soft plastics on this. Gives me a feel of almost like an LSJ rod, but without the long butt section. And I would be able to work spoons. I would be able to work vibration lures, and more importantly, soft plastics and plugs on this, small ones. Okay, so we're talking about stuff like this right here. Okay, so these are all smaller stick baits. Okay, right here. And for something like this, you know, you need to cast it. With this, I'm able to cast it out quite far and then just kind of jerk the tip and give it like an underwater walk the dog action. One of my favorite small lures is a dense. Okay, here it is. It's a dense from Storm. Okay, this particular one. And all these rods are able to cast these lures, and they work really well. I'm not too sure if Storm has discontinued them, but I made sure to stock up on a lot of them before leaving the company. But this is the type of rod I use to work those. Now, they cross over to the ultralight segment of things, but still have the grunt when the bigger fish come out to play. But most of the time, when I'm breaking down place, I would have one of these rods, and the reels remain the same. So basically, if let's say I'm fishing off more of a beach arena and I need distance to cover, I would be using the longer rods, okay, depending on the weight that we're talking about. Whereas if I'm fishing shallow water like flats and stuff, I would be using the smaller stuff or the shorter stuff. So we're looking at, for purely shallow water, a maximum of the 8 foot, and then the 8 feet and over. So I'd have like the 7 footers. Okay, so when I'm fishing in purely flats, sand flats or areas with weeds and all that, where I need to be able to cast towards structure accurately, the shorter rods give me that. Okay, now the longer rods give me distance. So the 8 footers and the 9 footers will give me like distance, and that matters a lot. Now another factor you need to look at when it comes to that would be the line. So you're looking at 0.8 PE and 0.6. So more on 0.8 and probably 1. Okay, so PE1 and 0.8 would be the line that I use, and the thinnest line that I will use in this segment would always be 0.6 and nothing lower than that. Lower than that, then we're looking at ultralight rods, and it's a different kettle of fish there, so to speak. All right, so obviously these will have a variable size of targets, but we're looking at anywhere between 2.5 to 4 kilos, and then a maximum of 2.5 kilos, 3 kilos for the ultralight stuff. Any more than that, it'll be very difficult to land. But at least for the medium tackle, what happens is that it gives you still a very good chance of landing those bigger ones. Now, for the medium heavy tackle, no problem. I've used this to land like tuna and stuff, and yeah, it's fun. Like kingfish on this sort of thing, like the 4,000 can almost catch anything, but that's it. All right, so kind of just an introduction to this, and then what we will do is we'll break this apart even more in the succeeding videos, and we'll talk about more on the, like, take for example, when we're fishing flats, the combo that I use and why, and the lures. Okay, that way when you watch the video, like take for example, when you're fishing shallow water for soft plastics, I'd be able to I'm going to show you like the lures, the selection of lures, and we'll concentrate more on the combo. Okay, so this is kind of like the introduction for a generalist type fishing gear. I don't even know how I'm going to title this, so this is going to be very interesting. Alrighty, so that's it for this one. If you have questions, go type them in the comment section, and then we'll have them answered. I'm having a hard time catching up. There are a lot of questions, but hopefully I'm able to catch up. If you learned something from this video, give it a thumbs up. And before we actually close the video, I'd like to thank all the members. And these members are actually supporting the channel and myself directly, okay? Not by passing through YouTube and stuff. So they help the channel grow, obviously by watching and liking the video and that as well. But if you want to do more and help this channel move forward, then the memberships is it for the time being. Okay, that is it. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Class dismissed.